What is going on, everybody? It is Pete's McGeets here. I'm back with another Throne and Liberty video. Today, I wanted to go over guilds and all the things people will need to know about guilds as a guild leader specifically. We're going to go through each guild tab and kind of just give all of the vital information that is kind of needed if you wanted to even run a guild. Starting with our first tab in the information, we should talk about donations. You have the ability to recommend by putting the thumbs up next to whatever you want your members to donate. I would always recommend the lowest resource. These resources are important because they're going to be used later on in guild skills. To acquire the grayed out version, the common ones to donate, you can just dissolve the green ones and make sure to tell your members for whatever resource you want, dissolve the green ones into common ones. This will make it so that you can then donate them to the guild. Next, let's talk about the roles. You can have only obviously one leader, 2 advisors, and up to 5 guardians. On screen are going to be the differences between what each of them can do. Going down into the guild skills tab, this is very important. You can XP boost low level members that you might have still in your guild. When you're doing open world farming for your contracts, you want to use Solent, possibly with the Abyss boost. Guild Summon Gate will allow you to just summon everyone in one place, and the other ones are good for offensive boosts. A very notable one is to use the boss bonus damage before every single world boss to increase your chances of getting loot. Now, in guild contracts, these can be re-rolled by the guild leader or advisors. The left side is always going to be killing monsters in the open world. The right one is always going to be the blue contracts, the weekly contracts, and open world dungeons. And the middle is always going to be dynamic events. A quick recommendation on how to get these done the quickest. On the left one, you ideally want to either have 2 different species of monsters to defeat, or you can roll it until you get defeat any species. These are the easiest contracts. In the middle, ultimately, it depends on which dynamic event you and your guild can do. Lantern Seed is an incredibly easy one, among with maybe any level 50 peace or cooperative event such as Requiem of Light. On the right, it ultimately depends on what open world dungeon you want to do. So Ceradoma Island, Shadow Crypt, Sanctum of Desire, whatever's easiest for you. These will give you guild coins in addition to activity points. Next, we have our occupation tab. This is where you have Boonstones and Riftstones. For Boonstones, there's generally a lot on the map. You can see that there are these little icons with guild emblems. There will be a Boonstone corresponding to every event, such as the Nesting Grounds with the Lantern Seed, the Grey Claw with the Lift of Moonlight. Usually whatever dynamic event happens in that area is what the Boonstone will correspond, and that'll come into play when we talk about inter-server events. For Riftstones, there are even less than. There's a limited amount of Riftstones on the map, and that's because you can kill the corresponding Riftstone boss that you have every day for loot. So Excavator means you can kill Excavator every single day with your guild. Kawazan likewise. I'll give you an example. We have Grand Alon. If you come to our Riftstone that you own, you can enter inside of it. And you can fight the boss corresponding to what Riftstone you have for just your guild alone. Boss respawns every day. In addition to that, each Boonstone will give their own effects, such as this one gives hit chance, and this gives skill damage resistance. So in total, our guild will be getting these passive resources for free. In addition to, the entire guild will get these stat increases. Boonstone fights are every Monday and Friday, and Riftstone fights are every Tuesday and Saturday. Right now on the Eastern server, that time is locked in for 9 p.m. Eastern. If you already own a Boonstone or Riftstone and you want to go for a new one, you would have to relinquish your ownership 36 hours before you want to declare a new one. So ideally it's 2 days before. Let me give you an example. Riftstones are on Tuesdays, and we already own this Riftstone, so we want to go for a new one. We would relinquish ownership on Sunday, and then on Monday, we would declare who we want to fight, which guild or which other Riftstone we want to go for, and then on Tuesday, the actual fight will happen for the Riftstone. So if you want to declare to fight someone, you would do it 1 day before the battle. And if you already own one, then you would relinquish it 2 days before. Now let's talk about the relationships tab. If you friendly a guild, you can have up to 3 alliances, but know that if you ally a guild, it will also take on whatever allies that they have with you. So if they already have 2 allies and then you decide to friend them, it will take all of their 2 allies plus you. Next, let's talk about the distribution tab. There are a couple ways that guilds can be run, whether that is through DKP, Loot Council, or a couple other ways. Ultimately, there are other videos explaining all the other kinds of rules and loot systems that they have, so I'm not going to go too much into that. If an item has this brown border, and typically they're weapons, then you can sell them. There, the auction house button here on the left would be available, and you can auction it. When the item gets sold, you can then come to the profit distribution and you can distribute it to anybody you see fit. Besides that, all the rest of these items, you can do one of 3 things with them. You could either put them on a fixed price and include who is in on this fixed price, and they will have a sale period to pay this exact price to get this item. The other thing you can do is you can auction it. You can put a starting price, and whoever has the highest bidding amount at the end of the sale is going to get that item. And the final thing you can do is you can straight up item transfer it, meaning you just decide to give the item to whoever you want. Now let's look into our manage tab. First, our joining procedure. When you have a new guild, I might recommend to start with instant, so that way you're not picky with whatever members you get later on, and you can change it to either password or approval. And next, these settings are kind of up to you. This is who gets to distribute the loot in the guild chest, advisors, or leader. And this is how the loot actually gets acquired. So guild acquires after 24 hours means that whoever gets the item drop, it goes directly to them, and they have 24 hours to decide whether they want that item or if it'll come here into the guild chest. Second option, to guild, means that when they get that item, it will directly go straight to this guild chest, and the guild leader will decide what to do with it. And the last option is that the item will just go straight to guild members, meaning that this guild chest will never see any items. Below that, you can choose up to what items you want to be acquired. So it can be all the way up to uncommon. Typically, the default settings is you want epic or above, and miscellaneous we do not give to guild. There are cases where if you want to take the miscellaneous, I think I've seen some guilds that have like the arc boss fragments, the Tevinton Queen fragments in here, so that's up to you as well. Lastly, I want to talk about this benefits tab. The main thing to note from these benefits is that the big level that you want your guild to be is level 17. At level 17, you unlock all the guild raids that are available, plus you unlock the maximum amount of boss defeats. You see, after level 17, there's really no other benefits you get. At level 17 guild level, you will unlock every single guild raid here. Along with, you'll unlock the 7 out of 7 boss kills, which is the maximum a week for a guild. If you own a Boonstone or a Riftstone, then there's a good chance that your guild can participate in these inter-server events. The way you can see them is in the daily tab. They're every Friday and Saturday. Friday for the respective Boonstone that you own. Saturday for the respective Riftstone that you own. If you're unsure if a Riftstone or a Boonstone that you're trying to go for doesn't have an inter-server event, what you can do is you can just click on it, like this Raging Wild one, and you see under occupation effects, it doesn't mention anything of an inter-server here. That means this Boonstone does not have an inter-server event. Take, for example, this other Boonstone, where it shows under occupation effect that it has an inter-server desert caravan, which means that on Fridays, there's going to be an inter-server guild battle. This means that you can fight with other guilds from other servers, either doing this event or doing that respective Riftstone boss, and you would essentially be fighting for Lucent. You could have up to 48 guild members present in an inter-server battle. Now, on the topic of Boonstones, Riftstones, and even Siege for that matter, you're going to need some guild supplies, such as like these guild flags. Say you wanted to take a Boonstone or a Riftstone, or you wanted to take a Siege Ruins during Siege, you need these guild flags. And how would you acquire them? You would come to the guild supplies merchant. You can buy these flags using the solent that you have in the guild, as well as you can buy the golem states using the resources you have in your guild. And these golem states are to control the golem and the siege ruins for the siege. Your guild will need these if you plan to do that. Make sure as a guild leader that you check this daily tab when you open the map, as it will show you things coming up for the week and the weeks after. You can find siege, the time, the arc bosses, inter server events. These are the main big events that you should be keeping an eye out for. That is the end of my video on the guild knowledge and what guild leaders should know. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know what you would like to see next. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, as I'm trying to reach over 500 subscribers. Thank you so much.